Okay, good evening, Steve. Good morning, Jason. How are we today?
Oh, glorious, thanks. How about you two down there in the wonderful other end of the world?
We're cold. Are you cold, Jason? You look cold. Now, Steve, what the hell have you got on? You're just showing off your muscles this week?
No, it's flipping hot here, man. It's 32 degrees. I know you guys think that zero is cold, but to a Michigander, zero is just about right. So we get into this 30-degree scenario and we start taking clothes off.
Hope it doesn't get any hotter. Okay. Today, we've been bouncing around a topic, coined it as VC 101, and it's one that Jason brought up. So I think let Jason jump into it.
Yeah, so I suppose this question comes up in two different scenarios, is that there'll be times when people ask, what do you do? Or like a business leader will ask you, what is VC? So my background has been in a lot of manufacturing, a very sort of specific path of VC. And sometimes when I ask that, I take a step back and think, how do I customize this answer for the person that's asking it? And then the more I think about it, the more I realize that I really don't have a quick elevator talk response to that question. I don't know how to explain VC, in 2 minutes. So I was wondering, you guys are probably, how do you respond?
So the smartass response is it stands for very confused, as in very confused people, because what happens here is you have basically two choices, right? You can have hundreds, thousands, millions of products that somebody has to sort their way through to find the one that they want, or you can use a rules-based system that allows you to easily and quickly find the options and the choices that are compatible together to give you what you want.
Yep. No, that's very true. Because I know when I went through developing my training, the same question actually came forward in my mind. How do you explain this thing called VC? And the way I approached it was, in SAP, you've got your normal master data, materials, bombs, routings, and they're static. So to Steve's point, you end up with 20,000 combinations of whatever, and that may not even cover everything that's possible. And VC, the way I sort of term it, is master data that goes over the top, that makes static stuff dynamic. So you've got the concept of the super bomb and your super routings, which is meant to be able to define anything that you make, basically. So it's a static structure, that the VC master data, and VC is master data at its core. It's not programming, it's not clever stuff really, it's just master data, and that just makes it dynamic.
So what I always used to like to tell the marketing people was, how do you want to let your customers know what your business rules are? Do you want to have to write a 50-page Word document that explains everything that they have to do? Or do you want those rules baked into the process of buying a product? And when you bake the business rules into the process of buying, it actually can lead the customer to what you want to sell, while still giving them the opportunity, if they choose not to buy what you want to sell, to buy something else. Then on the engineering side, the whole point of VC is to ensure that what the engineers have designed and manufacturing has said they can actually build is what you're going to sell. So those are the two key points in my mind. So it's the customer experience and the manufacturing experience. You can get into other things like distribution and supply chain and so forth and so on. But at the end of the day, if you can't sell it and you can't build it, it doesn't do a damn good to have anything out there.
So it takes the boring and the arduous out of when you want to select a product.
Yeah, and it will guide you to the right thing with the business rules that your business has said applies to your product.
Does that help?
Yeah, I think I don't know how to compare it to other tools or other options that people have if they were looking at VC as an option. How would you say it compares to other tool sets of it?
So here's the example that I like to use. Everybody uses Amazon, right? And you type something in there, like you say, I want to buy a size 11 men's shoe. And you get 1,500 pages of garbage that comes up that you have to sort through. And every now and then, one of the manufacturers will have, what size do you want? And what color do you want? That size and that color equates to narrowing down the option based on the business rules, which is in fact variant configuration. Now, the other way to come about it is to just come into Amazon and say shoe, and then have a whole bunch of rules and choices that say, I want this manufacturer and this color and this size and this width and so forth and so on. And eventually you'll get to your choice without having to weed through 15 pages of garbage.
Yeah, no, I think that's true. And like in really simple terms, VC is really just a filter. It's just filtering out or filtering down to the unique product that customer wants. By selecting options, it's basically discarding everything that's irrelevant dynamically or selecting what is relevant dynamically. And I think people moving from a 20,000 static bombs to potentially having one material that can represent those 20,000 products, that's the bit that sort of they have difficult conceptualizing, I think. And how does that black box of VC do that? Because a lot of people just scared of it because they don't really understand what it does and the impacts it has across the business. Because that's the other big point, I think, with VC that people don't realize. It's actually pervasive right across everything from costing to finance, production, sales, pricing, ATP or whatever. It goes everywhere, really.
So you're saying that as a positive thing, because we speak about that customer experience. It's very much so a positive thing for the people that are using it, the end user. The ideal end user is actual customer, not necessarily your in-house order entry or whatever. But you're mentioning back end and saying that it's spreading across so many areas. That's a positive or a negative.
Very positive.
Well, it depends on your perspective, to be blunt. If you're a marketing person, it's positive all the way. But your boomer engineer is going to tell you it's a negative all the time because they want those static bombs because that allows them to easily trace. Okay. But what they don't understand is how to use their CAD software. That's the real problem with the old engineers. The young engineers will all get it. They'll all get it quickly because they've been brought up a different way. But we come back to that conversation of you're going to struggle introducing VC as long as you got boomers that are at the end of their career or millennials that have been taught by those boomers, and that's all they ever know. I typically will direct somebody to the car buying process. You can go onto, for example, Ford's website and order a Mustang and not know anything about the car, right? What are the options? You don't have to know anything about it, and it will lead you through the choices to get you to something that Ford can actually build that you can actually buy. BMW has a good configurator. McLaren has a good configurator. Dell Computers, if you like computers, if computers is your analogy, then use Dell. They've got a good configurator as well. But it's all about making sure that what they present to the customer in the customer experience meets the business rules that allows that company to build, manufacture, and make money.
Yeah, I think it's a good wrap up of what VC can do. Whether you can wrap it into a 20-second elevator talk, maybe that's your assignment for. Yeah. Okay, Jason, is there enough there? Or do you think we need to be more concise?
No, I think that's a good one. Hopefully that if people are searching for it, they can find this video rather than trying to read through a blog or feel like someone's trying to sell them something. I think we're impartial enough to look at it objectively, and it was a good summary. A little bit too positive for my liking. We should have picked out some more faults maybe.
Okay, that's good. We'll think about the next 101 topic for the next one. Give that some thought. But I suppose in the meantime, we just ask people if they like it to subscribe
Somewhere.
wherever I put the buttons, and we'll catch you next time.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, thanks guys.
Bye.